Today we're going to talk about trusting your emotions. So there's kind of common vernacular out there, words out there, wisdom guidance that says always trust your emotions, and there's some guidance that says don't trust your emotions. So it's kind of confusing. Let's talk about it. So when I listen to people who are on the side of always trust your emotions, there is kind of a dismissing of emotional experience, people who have only done things cognitively, and there is an encouragement to jump towards not dismissing yourself. And so I think that there's medicine and poison here. So the medicine part is, yes, we should get in touch with our bodies. We should get in touch with what's going on. We should not dismiss ourselves, gaslight ourselves, and we should encourage ourselves to know our lived experience. Now, the other side of that might say our emotions and our mind can come from so many different influences and perspectives, and sometimes what's going on in your body isn't aligning with the emotion that's coming up, so you can't trust it. You need to analyze and actually do things logically. Now, I think we can get ourselves in trouble when we try to jump to one side or the other only, because any emotion that you have, there's not really judgment with it. Emotion is simply an emotion. And oftentimes there is our body telling us, indicating to us that there's something going on. Let's say the emotion is just anxiety. Let's say that is coming up. It's in a circumstance where you don't know why you feel anxious. You just do. And so the wisdom on the side of just like only trust your emotions would say you're anxious, get out of the situation. The side that says logic would say, hey, you shouldn't be anxious. There's nothing to be anxious about. Stop doing it that way. Just think about it logically and head towards whatever you should do. My suggestion kind of lays somewhere in between. Trusting that your body gives you signals for a reason, and that reason might be different than the current circumstance. So if you feel anxiety, if you feel tension in your chest, rapid heartbeat, things like this, and you don't understand why, the question that you could ask yourself is, okay, I know that let's say you are in a place where you feel like comfortable. You're like, all right, I'm in a relatively safe place here. Why is there anxiety coming up? What might be coming up for my body? And you can do things to help like self-soothe, re-regulate. Like maybe you can go for a walk. Maybe you can take some deep breaths. You can do the square breathing. And that's like breathing in for 4 seconds, breathing out for 4 seconds, breathing in, breathing out. And if you actually increase your out breath a little bit more than your in breath, it can be helpful for regulating the body. Your body can kind of like physiologically know that you're not in a fight and flight state and start to bring you back into kind of a homeostasis. So once you are in a place where your body is no longer as anxious, your kind of prefrontal cortex, your thinking brain, can come a little bit more online, and you can actually ask the question of like, what about the situation might be sparking anxiety? What might be sparking the sense that like your body is sensing that there is some danger or threat? And once you sit with that for a second, you might be able to realize that it's like, okay, like I'm around a lot of people and I feel like I should be XYZ. Maybe there's an insecurity about yourself. Maybe there's a insecurity about how you're behaving, looking, acting in a situation. Maybe you just sense other people's anxiety. And so then like you're feeling it yourself as you notice, just like perception. People are tense. People are like moving active. Maybe voices are like accelerated and higher, and you're just absorbing that. And like once you're able to ask the question of like, okay, like it's fine that my body's feeling anxious. I don't know where it's coming from. And just like ask the question of where might this be coming from? you can start to realize that it's here for a reason. Let's see why. And when we could see ourselves with curiosity and not shame ourselves for having an emotion come up, we can start to learn why it makes sense for us to be having this come up. And so not jumping to this shaming side of, oh, I shouldn't have this, it's an illogical feeling, or just jumping to the side of, I'm anxious, I have to get out of this. We are in a place where we are seeing ourselves oftentimes as fragile, when I think we are a lot more anti-fragile, a lot stronger than we assume that we are. And if we sit with the emotions for a minute, ask the right questions, and feel out in our system, thinking, and body, emotions, intelligence, connected to, if you're able to, ways that, or times that you've felt this way in your past, you can start to learn what your body is telling you when different things come up. And I think that actually is where a lot of our power comes from, because then we could say, oh, I'm actually just picking up that a lot of people around me are anxious, which is making me feel more anxious. And now that we know that, we then have power to choose what we want to do. Maybe you can help change the environment around you by bringing a sense of calm, or you can be a stable, force within that if that's what you want. Or if it's in an environment where it's I don't want to give my energy to this, and I also don't want to feel other people's anxiety, I'm going to go somewhere where there's just less anxiety and I can feel a little bit calmer. I don't have to sense other people's emotional states, and you can make that choice, and it's empowered. And before, where you would either dismiss and shame yourself or run away from something, now you can make a choice. And I think that is a more powerful place to come from, is being able to make a choice of what you want to do. Stop being reactive and start being responsive. And that's what I think I'd like to, give you a thought for today is, do you feel reactive in your life, or do you feel responsive? And the place of empowerment, a place of moving from victim, hero, persecutor side to the place of being a creator of your own destiny, seeing other people as maybe challengers or guides, comes from a place of self-understanding and self-empowerment, and knowing yourself, knowing that you come from the context of your own history, and you come from the family lines you do, with all of their beauty and all of their mess. And once you start to understand how that has impacted you and who you are, how your mind is, you can start to move through the world in a way that you have a lot more connection to yourself, your giftings, these things about you that are just beautiful and that you usually feel good when you're moving in alignment with. And sometimes it can be really hard. And if there are pieces of trauma that you notice that are keeping you stuck, feeling certain ways in certain environments, and just thinking about it, rationalizing it, feeling it, doesn't necessarily help you get through it. Maybe there's something stuck there, and you can reach out to someone like me or another therapist who does something like EMDR, things that hit the wiring in the brain that helps the amygdala process things through the prefrontal cortex and desensitize and reprocess the trauma. If you need something like that to be able to get through those stuck points, because just talking about it doesn't help, reach out. You deserve to have that help and get through it so that you can get back to just being you and feeling comfortable in your own skin. I hope that's helpful, kind of just seeing that distinction of logic mind, emotional mind, bringing it together to a place of self-understanding. And if you see that there's a stuck place, reach out for help so you can get that unstuck and get back to being you, because it costs a lot to not feel the way that you deserve to. Okay. Hope this has been helpful. Take care.